This is the fourth video documenting my YouTube experience. And while it's been a couple of weeks since I posted my last two videos, I've actually made a few which I looked at and decided that I didn't want to post, and I'll talk more about that a little bit later. I was also waiting to reach 100 views so that I could use the insight feature on the YouTube interface so that I could see what the demographics were of my viewership. And I haven't reached 100 yet. It's been 3 weeks and I've reached 99, and I seem to have plateaued at 99. So I decided that I would, go with 99 and look at it. And apparently, according to the Insight demographics, my viewership is exclusively women over the age of 55, which leaves me questioning exactly how that data is collected. I suppose it is possible that every single person who's looked at my videos is a woman over 54. It could be my mom. I think it's probably more that if people are not actually registered users, that it defaults to 55 and female, or if they don't put it in when they become a registered user, that it defaults to 55 and female. The other thing that I realized was I tend to talk a lot, and I tend to ramble and go off on tangents, which is largely antithetical to the most popular YouTube videos and the most viewed ones. So if I wanted my video to get to the hands of lots of people who might answer my questions or hopefully open a dialogue with me about what it was that I was questioning here, that I needed to either change the format of my videos or change my methodology. Since I can't really change who I am, I decided that I would go and look at how I could possibly change the way that I was, the methodology that I was using to get this video out there. And I figured that I needed to go back to what I was doing before I started producing YouTube videos, and that is to individually contact or message some of the more prolific YouTube users and see if they would be willing, now that I was in the party, to maybe stop by, take a look, and maybe answer some questions. I was actually pleasantly surprised to see that I got a response. And I got one from none other than Michael Buckley of What the Buck. And it was fantastically shocking to have somebody of his caliber, who is so prolific and one of the most subscribed people on YouTube, to actually take the time out to respond to my question. It was very genuine and sincere. And so here's my shout out to Michael Buckley. Thank you. That was very kind of you. And I really, I was impressed to know that somebody would be willing to take the time to do that. So thank you very much. The other thing that I did was I actually took some time to watch Blog TV and Ustream and a few of the other live streaming videos, because I hadn't done that previously. I was really kind of more captivated about the whole YouTube experience, but I realized that even a video that's recorded and then presented to somebody is not this kind of live two-way stream of interaction, and that Blog TV and Ustream, that really was providing that. So I watched Philly D, and I watched iJustine, and I watched Lacey Green, and I did what I do, and that is a lurk. But after the last couple of weeks of doing that, I started to realize that I was being compelled to interact, to engage with the other people that were there, and to actually get involved in the discussion, which is not why I originally came here to do this, and it's not what I usually do. As I said, I'm usually the person who's watching and noting and lurking. But then all of a sudden I was finding that I was being pulled in, and that's what I found with the whole YouTube experience. In the last couple of weeks, while I've been watching the YouTube videos and waiting to see if people are watching mine, I found that I was becoming more compelled to actually make the YouTube responses to other people's videos. And I had to keep reminding myself that that's not what I came here to do this for. I've been watching YouTube for years. I was, taking it all in. I was thinking about it. But I wasn't compelled to actually start making videos until I reached a point where I needed to get answers to questions that I wasn't getting answers any other way. And then all of a sudden I found that I wanted to make video responses to, Spricket24 or to Phil DeFranco, and I made them, and I looked at them and said, no, I got to keep reminding myself why it is that I came here. And so I never posted them. But I find that that is an interesting phenomenon. And I realized that my attempts to separate the question of what this phenomenon is saying about this paradigm shift in the way that we interact with one another and who it is we interact with, and the experiences that I was having myself, were largely inseparable, and it was artificial for me to try and separate into two streams. And so I've decided that I'm going to combine it back into one, and that since it appears that nobody really wants to, none of those 199 women over 55 want to respond to my videos, that I was going to use this more as a kind of a video diary or a video journal to document my own YouTube experience, and that's what I'm going to call it now. I'm going to call it my YouTube experience, where I participate in it, and I document it, and I document what it's doing with me, and what I think it might say about us and our society and our culture and things like that. The other thing that I did, as I try to do whenever I do a piece of research, and I recommend this to anybody else who does any kind of research, is to try to take in some of the literature, the thoughts of people whose ideas are the opposite of your own. And so I went to the bookstore and I collected up a couple of books for people who are not quite as positive or optimistic about this whole technology and what it says about us and our society, and so I'm going to start reading some of those books. The first one that I've decided to read is Andrew Keene's Cult of the Amateur. The amateur, by the way, is us. It's those of us who are using this technology to communicate, those of us who are non-professionals, and so I'm interested to see what it is that he has to say about this and why he seems to be somewhat negative about the experience. So I'm going to read this over the next couple of hours, and I'm going to think about it, and I'm going to make another entry here to discuss his thoughts and my thoughts about his thoughts. But if any of you have read the book, if you're interested in discussing it, stay tuned, because, as I said, I think it's really important that we take in information and ideas from people who are, coming from a different place than yourself. So I'm going to read that, and I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to continue to document my my experiences here with YouTube. So that's where I'm going to end this, because, as I said, I tend to ramble and talk too much, so I'm going to try and be shorter. And I'm hoping that maybe perhaps someday, I do a lot of hoping, and it's not really helping, but maybe perhaps someday I will actually get some people who are interested in responding, or perhaps opening a dialogue with me about their experiences on YouTube. So that's where I shall end this now, and thank you, and perhaps I'll be lurking if you're on YouTube, or on Ustream, or Blog TV. So have a good night.